This is session 2 of 3 for The Witcher Pen and Paper RPG, as put out by R Talsorian, based, of course, on the Witcher video game series, which is in turn based on the Witcher novel series. This is a recent game. It is a D10-based game that, if you know Interlock or Cyberpunk, you'll recognize the mechanics of that. So they've kind of adapted those elements forward for this particular game. It's a game with a little bit of crunch to it. Long skill lists, critical hits, all kinds of stuff. It's fun to try that out. So we have 4 characters. Our Witcher is apparently not here, which we will see what happens as a result of that for this. And last time I did sort of a straight average roll for things, and Stephen made a point at the end that he thought that created too little variability. So I'm working from what all of you suggested was doing a table. I've randomly generated results that'll keep things going quickly for me. So I've got that right beside me here. So hopefully that will variable up the situation. So with that in mind, I want to have our 3 returning characters introduce themselves and give us a sense of who they are and what they can do. And so let us start with our criminal. The class is called criminal. So let's start with our criminal character, Eduardo.
Sure. So our criminal is a human male. His name's Gisli Skaggsson. Basically he was just a peasant farmer. Blight hit the farm, and opportunity struck, and he started to follow the army, just kind of picking up scraps behind. And ultimately, he developed into sort of a trusted scout. As far as his look goes, he's kind of thin, lanky, kind of medium height. His clothes and boots, it's all kind of just mismatched, different styles, basically just stuff that he's kind of found along the way. Kind of helps him also sort of fit into different groups, different social settings. As far as what he's good at, I think we're really good at finding things that are needed, but he's also always competing with our competitions like Finest Shot or Sneakiest Scout, stuff like that.
Excellent. Excellent. And you were somewhat against the current course for the group, which we'll come back to, but you were somewhat overruled on that. Which brings us to Rania. Leandro, tell us about Rania.
Yeah, so Rania is the elven man-at-arms. So you're basically, you know what to expect with an elven warrior in even in a low fantasy medieval-ish game. She's kind of a ranger type, very good with bows and arrows, of course, and she's from a specific group of elves in the Witcher universe. She basically hails from a place called Iron, which is an interdimensional sort of different plane of existence compared to other worlds. So it's basically another dimension. So basically these elves, unlike the more terrestrial elves you'll find in the Witcher universe, they're much more fae-like. They're much more unseelie and whatnot. Also, I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, but they've been described by TV tropes as the most racist elves ever. And by that, I mean they really are just arrogant, high and mighty people. And Rania carries a bit of that, but part of her background, as noted in the character sheet, is that she's kind of low-born, and that even in Iron, there's a pecking order, and she kind of wants in on specifically getting higher up, but much more specifically getting higher up as a warrior. And the highest clan of warriors in Iron are these people called the Wild Hunt, which, if you played the Witcher series, they're kind of fairly big. In fact, that Wild Hunt might even be a subtitle in one of these games. So yes. She's come down to this continent to basically learn to be a better killer. Hence why she's got caught up in this army, and she's hoping to learn quite a bit.
Absolutely. And last time you did have a brief encounter with another sort of local elf who regarded you with some suspicion, and the feeling was mutual, I believe.
No, yeah, like the elf was. If an elf was just living in Ashburg, that's kind of like just. It's not just suspicious. It's just pitiful.
Well said. Which brings us to our dwarven doctor. Stephen, please tell us about Arak.
Yes, Arak Kafgar. He's a young dwarven doctor who joined the army to get some experience at the beginning of his career. He served several years until his platoon was wiped out, and in fact, our Witcher Exeth was somewhat responsible for that. He had a plan that went wrong, and after that, I decided to muster out, and I'm making my way homeward with some traveling companions who are also done with the army, looking to get back to civilian life.
Yes, and we talked about you did some autopsy kind of things. You looked at the bodies last time, which is the detail of that we'll come back to. I don't think anybody was severely hurt, but we'll see if we can't rectify that this session. Okay. Q, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I had some connection issues. I'm going to continue trying to get connected on my computer, but sorry for being late.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I certainly understand. Are you at BGG Con?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So give us the quick 30-second pitch on your character Exeth.
So Exeth is the Witcher, and she has been she joined this group because there was a monster that was picking them off one by one. She's a little bit distant from the others. She looks younger than she really is. She looks fairly young. However, you see age in her eyes. And as I recall at the end of last session, didn't we leave in the middle of a cliffhanger?
We left at the front of a cliff face.
Yeah. Okay.
With the cavern extending before you.
Mm-hmm.
So let me once again frame up where our group is at. These four were part of a particular army group that had fought throughout the sort of the battles from the northern armies against the Nilfgaardians. And a recent debacle has shattered their forces, and we take up with these four essentially heading northward, returning to a town they'd been through before, and it is currently occupied by Nilfgaardian forces. So they are keeping kind of a low profile as best they can, because Nilfgaardian troops, if they spot them, may try to arrest them. And they do know that there is a Nilfgaardian general who is moving around the area looking for deserters and rabble and things like that, and committing particularly horrible horrible tactics to cause fear in the populace. The town that they've come back to, Ashburg, seems to be occupied. They've installed a new sort of Nilfgaardian lord watching over the area. There are various, Nilfgaardian guardsmen around. The people seem somewhat beaten down by this. They weren't massacred or anything. It's just been a change of control for them, though their country essentially has been overrun. But more importantly, for the purposes of this session, the group encountered the innkeeper, who spoke to them, and said that there had been a series of attacks in the town, that teenage daughters of various households had been spirited away, houses had been broken into, other people in the household had been killed, and several of these had happened, and the newly installed lord and the guardsmen hadn't really done anything about it. Said they'd increased patrols, but nothing had really changed. The group examined the bodies and were able to determine that it certainly seemed like a largish creature striking with huge force. And long story short, after various pieces put together from checking the bodies and then checking the most recent household, we're able to determine that it was likely a troll, and that this was somewhat unusual behavior for a troll to come in and do these kinds of kidnappings. The group were able to find a trail that led out of town, where clearly one of the bodies, not of the teenager daughters, but of someone else, had been kind of dragged out, which led them to these scavengers, these Nikars, which are like little sort of half-sized, almost carrion ghoul type creatures, and they fought against them, followed the trail further on, and they found themselves at the mouth of this cave. They could see various bits and skulls decorating the outside of it that suggested that those little ghouls, the Nikars, were, that there are probably some of them in there as well, but there definitely are those troll tracks going deeper into the cave. And that is where we start this session. Did I miss any important details? Any of you are like, oh, and there's this other thing? No? Okay. So, as I recall last time, there had been some discussion about how to proceed, whether to, in fact, actually proceed. And as I said, Gisley was somewhat overruled in that. So we take up with that. I'm going to assume that you have lanterns if you want to have those with you, or something of that sort to illuminate. But this is a cave. I mean, it's a dangerous area, but the tracks certainly lead that way. So with that in mind, how do you want to proceed? I'm gonna point first to our Witcher, and then I'm going to come to our Elven Archer. So, Exeth, let me start with you.
So I think I'm going to form the group up and tell them this is the order of entry. I think the archer should be in the back. I think I should be in the front, and the dwarf in the middle. And I look at them. Are you ready to go? This is dangerous. And yeah, what does everyone think?
What's everybody's reaction to this this command, as it were?
I just sort of shrug and fall in behind him.
Makes sense.
I kind of nod, but you can see there's a hint of a smile on her face now, because this is kind of like she's kind of like, okay, she's gonna watch this, and from the back is a good position to watch all this happening, seeing how a Witcher works specifically.
And are you cool with this lineup, Gisley?
Are we sure we want to do this? Are we really sure we want to do this?
Of course. Otherwise, this creature can come after any of us.
All right. So, Exeth, you begin working your way in. Let me ask you this: is it more important to you to kind of get in there and maybe move fast to see if you can keep some element of surprise, or are you more interested in caution and stealth and keeping your eyes out? How would you describe your approach?
So the troll probably isn't very smart, but something's been driving it into the city. So I'm going to suspect that there's something else going on, or someone else around doing something to this troll.
Okay.
However, I don't think it's going to be smart enough. So I think this is going to be us looking for clues as we go in, trying to find if there's any other activity in this place.
Okay. That seems like a reasonable thing. I think what I'm going to start with then is, because you're kind of taking point and you're reading the area, I'm going to start with a just general awareness roll from you to gauge this.
Okay, so I think I just got the roll 20 up, and I got through. So let me see if this works.
Okay.
So this is awareness under intelligence skills.
Yep.
No modifier. Did that
That's
roll?
quite good. That's a 20. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
So you will move on into here, and the cave is certainly big enough for the troll. I mean, the walkway through is certainly big enough for a troll to come through. And you will keep your eyes on some of the cracks and crevices that move off to the side. You'll see, some of those feral eyes kind of looking at you. But you already your group did in a number of them. So they seem much more cautious, like they aren't ready to come and attack you. And you will spot a couple of places where you get a good sense of, okay, this is where they could come from. This is what's going on here. And you will also have enough foresight to kind of stop yourself when there's kind of a drop off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cave drops down, and it must be an easy clamber down for the troll, but certainly in the darkness here, if you weren't, on your toes, you could have easily walked off this ledge. And you kind of move forward on that. So you take point and are able to do that. For then Rania, can I have you make a wilderness survival roll?
So just for one thing, as we
Sure.
go in, and I see these glowing eyes, I think I do the military sign, pointing, 3 this direction, pointing to everyone. Whether or not they think their character would interpret it is a different story. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys kind of spot those. You will, as you're coming through, looking at the ground, trying to judge here, you would guess that Rania, that there may be another 5 or 6 of those little ghouls around. There are definitely the troll tracks. There are like drag marks of its club, which you've determined is kind of like a bound together brace of tree limbs. And it does look like a single troll. It's not more than one.
Don't know how I can give this info to group since I'm at the back. Well, I'll keep the info in mind. Actually,
Okay.
no. I'm gonna tap Gisley because I think Gisley's right in front of me, and just make one gesture and kind of like gesture at the. I think I point out the troll tracks to him and
Okay.
and kind of like make a pass this along sort of. I don't know if he'll interpret that in that way, or if he's willing to interpret anything from me. But
Well, Gisley certainly served in the military for a while, so I assume he has a pretty good sense of how that works, right? You mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's, he taps the dwarf on the shoulder and, makes a symbol, passes it along.
Absolutely. And you will make your way deep into the cave, and the group will find themselves after this kind of drop down in the back cave area, but there's no troll here. It's a big open space, and there are lots and lots of bones around here. But it doesn't look like the troll is currently in. So let me ask Iraq, what do you want to do?
Just look around. See if we can find anything that will give us any clues as to what the troll has been doing. See if any of the missing women, perhaps they're here.
Yeah. Why don't you actually make a healing hands roll? Since you can use that for sort of your medical awareness.
It's 24.
So you'll check around, check out the bones. It looks to you like there are no bodies of women here. And the bones here seem to be like cattle, maybe horses, maybe sheep. Bones seem to be strewn about here.
Is the passageway we went through the only way in?
Yeah, it does look like it's the only way into here. Keep in mind, of course, that the tracks that you found to get here were a couple days old, so it wasn't like you were following straight behind the troll.
So I think I'm hearing you say that there are no garments, nothing sort of human or man-made here, or did I read too much into that?
No, I mean, there are no human bones here. There are no bodies, there are no human bones. What do you want to do, Gisli? As realization comes to you.
Yeah, I guess I exclaim out loud. I mean, the obvious. There's nothing here that belongs to people. Just out of curiosity, I mean, is there any excrement? Is there anything that would even, lead me to believe that this has been occupied or?
That's a good question. Why don't you I'll let you do your practice paranoia roll. That's your thief skill, right? Your criminal skill?
Yes.
Let's have you roll that.
So is that a specific skill or is it a tribute check?
I think that that one is a. Let me see.
Is it the defining skill? There, I can see there's a number 4 right next.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should a 4 skill level. And I think it should roll off your stat. I don't know. Once you hit that button, let's see.
Okay, so it came up with a 13.
Okay. So you rolled a 1. We don't need to roll down low from that. What I imagine it is, Gisli, is as you are going around here, and you particularly said excrement at one point there, and you're kind of looking around, you're like, okay, what can we find? Is there any other evidence? And there is that bit where you step in something and your boots go down deep into this troll fecus. And like it's kind of cold and wet and clammy, and it goes up, you just got these new shoes, you took off the bandits and they are ruined. And it takes you a bit, it probably pull your foot out with a kind of that kind of sound as it's withdrawn.
Oh, forks, everyone. And look down, look up, look around. But it's cold. But it's cold.
Exith?
So I think I'm searching the area, looking for, when was the last time the troll was here? When would I expect the troll to come back? Is this actually a troll place, or is this a cleverly hidden, disguised area that someone...
Let's have you roll your Witcher training.
Okay. Witcher training. 14.
14. It definitely looks like a troll hold. And you figure that the troll hasn't been here for a bit. However, there is that now sound that you're picking up of like movement and sort of maybe heavier breathing that is coming the way that all of you came in.
So I think that I look at them all. Who's carrying the light source, by the way?
Who carried?
I mean, I think I probably have the lantern because, I mean, I was in the middle, and the archers need both hands for their bows. So
fantastic. So I think what this looks like on screen is I kind of perk up a little bit, and I hear this, noise and this breathing coming this direction, and it's a little loud. And I look at all of them and say, I whisper quietly, "Be silent, be ready." And then I take my cloak and I cover the lantern so it goes completely dark, waiting for whatever it is to come up.
Okay. Do all of you take position then?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much choice unless I want to jerk the lantern away from him.
Right.
Yeah.
I go behind XF for sure. And
okay. Gisley, how do you set yourself up?
Is it? I forget. Is the term stalagmites? Or are those the ones that come up from the ground? I guess I'm looking for like a rock or something like that to hide behind.
Okay. Yeah, you can find some junk and some rock formations here to perch yourself behind, and maybe a minute and a half will pass.
In this universe, can dwarves see in the dark?
I don't know. Let's say yes. They at least have some low light vision, let's say.
And I see on the Witcher sheet that I have dim vision as well.
Okay, yeah. So you've got a little bit better sense. So I assume elves have supernatural sight. So Gisley, these people have. I mean, they've turned out the light. They all can see reasonably in the dark. They've made you stand and poop. This has not been your day. And then you'll hear the scraping sound and then sort of the weird off-key humming of this troll. And it comes to that ledge, the climb down point, and it will set its club down, and it will kind of clamber down into this chamber, into this room.
So as it reaches the bottom and is kind of stepping off, I think, that's the plan. That's when I plan on revealing this lantern to try to blind it and attack it.
Okay, absolutely. I think that if you wish to, you can pull the cloak away, reveal the lantern, and I'd say that that's enough to give you all around to do something before the troll can act. Essentially, before we even roll initiative for the troll. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
So, Access, you're the one to pull that cloak away. So, what do you want to do?
So I think it's pull the cloak away and charge straight into battle.
Okay.
Did we know anything about trolls in general? Like, do trolls in this universe have regeneration or fire? They're only damaged by fire or something like that? Or I don't know that we got any of that.
I think you got one of the things was that hitting it in the stomach, in the torso, was better because it has a little bit less armor there.
That's right.
That's their sort of their soft spot.
And my Witcher sword is silver, so it should work against monsters. Is that right?
So what it'll do is you will do full damage against the monster.
Okay.
So I'm going to it will still get its dodge effect here,
right?
Which is a let's see, that is that. So that's that. So 8 plus 5 is 13. So right now to hit this thing, you would normally need 19 with its roll. But I think that I'll give you a +2 for surprise on top of that. So need to hit 17.
Okay. So I'm going to roll swordsmanship.
Okay. Let me ask you a question before you roll.
Yes.
Before you roll, do you want to do 2 attacks, or do you want to do 1 attack at a minus and do double damage?
I will do 2 attacks.
Okay.
And isn't there a cold shot?
Yes, you can try and hit its torso. That is a -1 to hit its torso.
So I will do that. I will do 2 attacks with a cold shot on both of them.
Okay, let's see you do that.
Okay. So I'm not going to put any modifier in. We'll just look at the die roll.
Okay.
The first is a 23.
Okay.
So that would be a 22.
So that will hit.
Okay. And do you want me to roll the second?
Yeah, let's go ahead and roll the second here.
There it is. And here's the second. It is a 19 after the modifier.
Okay, so that will hit it.
Okay. And then roll damage.
Yes.
Okay, so the damage for the first looks to be 19.
Okay, and you hit it in the
torso.
The torso. Okay, which means standard, and then it does that. It only has that. Okay, and then the second one
is 23.
Okay, so you will hit it, and you get past some of its trollish armor there. Hitting it in the stomach seems to have had that effect, and we see you leap up and land twin blows into that stomach there, and it will kind of roar back when that hits it. Who goes after you of the group? Exith?
I think the elven archer probably goes next.
Okay. Yeah, I think once Exit rolls back, I'm gonna let off a shot, so it'll be the troll will kind of stay there if it's gonna get hit again, hopefully.
Absolutely. Now, here's my question: do you want to do the 2 shots, or do you want to do 1 shot with the minus?
Do I get to do that? I thought that was only for like melee.
Oh, let me check on that. I can't remember.
Yeah,
oh no,
that was
you can't do the strong thing, but I think you can do because of your elf ability. You get to do the 2 shots if you wish.
Okay. I think I'll do 2 shots.
Okay. Are you trying to target its?
Actually, no, because I remember I don't do full damage anyway.
Right.
Because I don't have a silver sword. I might just take the 1 shot and do double damage.
Okay.
That's how it works, right?
Let me check on that again. On that, so many mechanics. Let me see what it get to the thing. Just going to confirm this.
I'm just looking through my empathy skills. I have no empathy.
Yes. When using a strong strike with a bow, you pull the bow to full draw and fire, doubling the damage. You can only fire once. So yeah, you can do that. So
cool.
Do you want to target its stomach as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be a total of then a -3 for your to hit roll. Luckily, I rolled a 1 for its defense. So you're going to need to beat with that minus, you're going to need to beat an 8.
Okay, here's hoping.
With its fumble.
That's archery, right?
That would be archery, yes.
So I'll submit without modifiers,
Okay.
and then what goes. Okay, so that's a 21.
Okay. With the -1 for the location will be a 20.
Oh, sorry. I rolled a 24 and I already had put in -3.
Oh, okay. So let's so that'll do that. That'll hit the area. Let me check and see what crit that is. I believe that is a second level crit. Can I have you roll me 2d6?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, 2 6s.
2 6s. Let's see
Oh my
what
god.
that does here. Do 2 6s on the difficult. So you will actually cause it to bleed. So it is bleeding right now from that shot. So let's have you roll your damage.
Mm-hmm. That's a 25.
Wow. So minus the armor. So that essentially we subtract the armor from that, and then we double it. So it has a 15 armor on the stomach. That will hit that, and then we'll double it. So you will actually do then 20 points of damage. So that arrow sinks into it, and it will roar out like it is furious. It's something in it got hit, and it's kind of scrambling to try and get to its club. Who goes after you? Is it the your friend Iraq, or is it Gisley to try and make him?
Gisley's just sort of frozen at the moment. Do you want to go Iraq or?
Sure. I mean, I'll go in. I'll do a single blow targeting the stomach.
Okay, let's have you go ahead and hit.
That's
So it's rolled a 3. So 8 5 is 16.
so I have a 22.
So
minus 3 is 19.
19. So that will still hit. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. That is 16.
16. So minus, and its DR went down, so that'll do 6. So you do pull back mightily with that staff. And is it? Do you imagine that it's a swinging blow or like a thrust?
I think it's a thrust. I'm targeting some blood vessels.
Okay.
I know a little bit about trollish anatomy.
Absolutely.
Right, and I am also rolling for my anatomist special skill, and I just missed the DC of 15, so I do not do bleeding damage.
Don't increase the bleed out that the troll is suffering. Which brings us to you, Gisley.
Okay. So yeah, a little bit of paralysis, but he sees Iraq go in, and he's gotta get it. So he draws his knife and he goes in. Going to try to do that single attack and just sort of see if I can find an opportunity to strike at his soft spot.
Okay. So right now he has a with the 7 he rolled, he has a 19 to hit him. Did you include the penalty?
No, I did not.
So you will get up and essentially try to stab at him, but he's moving. He's been hit by all these others, and now he's sort of swinging around wildly. So you have to kind of keep back so you're not just hit by sort of random swings of his arms. Now I need everyone to roll your initiative. Which is, I believe, a D10 plus your speed. And he will have.
So Lowell?
Yes.
There's an initiative button that I clicked on.
Sure.
and it appears to be a D10 plus my reflex.
Yeah, I'm getting a reflex bonus as well when I push the initiative button.
Okay. I think you might be right. I think speed is a stat that's only used for measuring your distance you can move.
Okay.
Why? Okay. Anyway, so Iraq, what'd you get for initiative?
10.
10. Gisley?
15.
15. Exith?
17.
And Arania?
15. And also during all that melee, I raise an eyebrow at Gisley.
Just warming up.
Right. Yeah, and also I had a 1 on that roll. Do I roll again to
No,
deduct?
not for initiative.
Okay.
So it's 8 plus 6 is a 14. Okay. Troll on 14. So Exith, you can act before the troll gets a chance to go.
Okay. So I have a question about the Witcher spells.
Sure.
Are these something that take the place of my action?
Yes.
So I think that the best defense is an offense. So I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did before.
Okay.
I'm going to attack twice with a called shot to the torso.
All right.
And go back in, with my strafing move, trying to open up its belly.
Okay.
So let me get back to there.
Can I interject briefly? Just ask a quick mechanical question.
Sure, absolutely.
I vaguely remember during that first session, can we spend luck? I mean, is that like a resource?
Oh, yes. So you can spend luck. You can spend luck on yourself, 1-to-1 before you roll. If you spend it on your allies, you can spend it before they roll. For each one that you spend, they get +2 to their roll.
Spend luck to chance to hit? Or
yeah, for the chance to hit. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, yeah, I would absolutely love to. I mean, maybe somehow I set up a better shot or a better opening.
Absolutely. So just mark off a point of luck and exit. That'll give you another +2 to your roll. The troll has pulled his club and he's kind of using that now to try and block blows as best he can.
Okay, so I'm going to roll swordsmanship, and I'm going
Sure.
to put in a +2 modifier from the luck.
Okay.
I got a 25.
Okay. I have a total of 22 for my defense.
Okay, so I think I subtract from that the called shot,
which would be a 1.
Okay, is there anything else I subtract for doing 2 attacks?
No, you do not.
Okay, so that gives me a total of 24.
So you will just hit. So go ahead and roll your damage.
Okay. And that is 22.
22. So it will go through. It doesn't double, but it does take that. So he is in very bad shape. He's not quite staggered yet, but he is in very bad shape. You're going to take another swing?
I am. And this is the backstroke.
Okay. And he gets his blow up this time with a little more speed and grace. It rolls a 10. So 16 plus that. So you need to hit a 32 to hit him on this round.
Ooh. And I do not get a bonus at this point for the luck.
No, that is correct.
The last one, yes. And I got a 20.
Okay. So this time you hit him with that first strike with that silvered blade, and it sinks in, and then he kind of pushes you back with the club and kind of gets it in the way of you when you try to swing that blow back on him.
He's seen that happen once already, and he knows what's coming.
Yes, absolutely. Rania.
Because I was actually going to ask because myself and Gizmo rolled the same number of does it matter which either of us goes first?
I either way you want to go.
I kind of wanted to be like that. Raised eyebrow kind of spurs Gisley into like, no, wait, no, this can't be. And this troll is just about to die anyway. So I kind of want to see Gisley go first.
Gisley?
That's very cool, man. So yes, he's just going to go for the the one strike. Once again, just trying to find an opportunity to get that soft spot in the belly.
Okay. I've got a 16 on this one.
I'm gonna spend a point of luck for Gisley.
Okay.
And what this looks like is the two of us are kind of double teaming the troll. So I picture Gisley as kind of getting underneath and starting to trip the troll. And as the troll knocks me back after that second blow, he's focused on me and kind of overreached.
That sounds good. So need to hit a 16. You get a +2 bonus from that. -3 for the strong strike.
So net -1 basically then.
Net -1.
Let's see if this works. So
I need you to roll another D10.
Oh man.
I gave you the chance. Come on.
I know. I'm just petrified with this thing.
The good news is that you don't fumble.
Cool.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, this thing is so big, and I imagine that part of it is that like you're trying to land that blow, but you just can't get enough force behind it to like really sink that into it. This is not the kind of foe that you are used to fighting at all. Which brings us to Ariane.
Yeah, I think I see all of that, and again, you can hear the loudest eye roll in the history of this world. And I'm gonna take another called shot to the torso and a single attack.
I've got a 20 for my dodge.
Oh my god. I guess that's archery again. And what's the modifiers?
So -1 for the location, and another -3 for strong shot.
Oh, that's a -4.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Just said pass. Oh, too late. I was going to offer some luck, but
oh, whoops! I'm sorry.
So you will take that shot, and this thing. I mean, it manages to kind of get a little bit of room there. Then the shot does not land, and it will now on its action turn, and it will take 2 swings. It will aim one at Exeth, and then it's going to aim the other one at Gisley. So the one on you, Exeth, a 10, another 2 is 12, and then 8. So I've got a 27 for my to hit roll. Now you can dodge or you can parry.
And parry damages the weapon.
It would if we were using that mechanic,
right?
But I am not, because we're already tracking armor. And
wasn't there also a parry does something else? Does it?
If you succeed on your parry, then that actually unbalances them and gives them a minus on their next action.
Okay, so I think I'll do a parry.
Okay.
So that's my swordsmanship?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That makes sense. And I got a 24.
So it will just hit you. Doesn't crit, which is good. Let's see where it actually lands the blow. So that's 1d10. Whoops, /roll 1d10. So it hits you in the head. And it's going to do... So it is going to hit you in the head for 44 points of damage.
Okay. So let's see. I have armor somewhere. I have 3 armor to the head.
Okay.
Right.
So, and then in that case, actually, it's going to be 22 minus the 3 is going to be 19. It's going to be 38 total hit points of damage.
Okay. And I take 1 off the armor.
Yep.
To the head, and then 38. And where are hit points on here?
Hit points are like straight across from the stats.
Oh, I see that. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a stun rating here. So I have 44 hit points right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming I am that stun rating takes effect.
So what you'll do is you need to roll a d10. If you don't roll under your stun rating, then you will be stunned.
Okay. And you said that was 39 points of damage?
Yeah, 38.
Rolled 8. My stun is 9.
So you're fine.
Okay.
It brings this thing around, this club around for this first blow. You try to get your blade up in time, and it catches you across the head. And all of you will probably hear this sickening crunch. And Exith is lifted up off her feet and sent flying against the wall, and probably blood coming out of her nose. Already there's a bruise forming, and she probably hits against that wall, like a rag doll, but still has a hold of her blade because she's a witcher. And then it turns to swing at you, Gisli.
Can I provide luck?
You don't.
Okay.
Because the next roll is a 1, followed by a 10, followed by a 9, which means that it actually fumbles on its attack on you, Gisli. Which means I actually have to roll its fumble thing, which is in here somewhere. A lot of charts. There you go. Let's see what that is. Fumble table, melee attack. So we roll that. Be minus that. So it's actually unbalanced right now. Essentially, it hit Exith hard, and it tries to bring that club around to strike at you, Gisli, but it can't quite get the room of it, and it smashes its hand against the wall, and it's kind of staggers back from that.
Okay.
And that was the troll on 14, which brings us to Iraq.
All right. Is there a mechanic for sort of hindering it somehow? Like knocking it off balance or sticking my staff between its legs so that it has trouble maneuvering?
Sure, I think it's already unbalanced. So I would assume that there is a trip mechanic. So we'll do that real easy. Essentially, we'll do like a resisted athletics roll versus. Do you want to use your staff for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will roll its athletics plus dexterity. That's a 10. So I've got a 19.
And I have only a 16.
So you kind of move over there to get at it, but it's you probably don't have quite the leverage that you need for that. We wrap around to the top of the next round, which brings us to Exith.
So as I bleed on the ground, I think I'm going to make an invocation.
Okay.
This is the invocation of Quinn, and I spend stamina.
Okay.
I think I can spend up to 4 points because that's my vigor.
Yes, you could spend more and then take hit point damage.
Yeah, not doing that.
Okay.
Quinn gives me a shield with 5 health points per point of stamina spent. So that'll give me 20 stealth points. And I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, Witchers, these are rune-based, so I draw a rune on the ground.
Yeah, or in the air, you do that design in the air.
And it kind of glows for a moment. And then I kind of stand up and I wipe the blood off, and I've got this massive bruise on the side of my face. I say, Is that all you got?
And I imagine, witches have that white hair. So I imagine that half your hair is still that sort of long white, and the other half is probably red with the blood at this point.
Right.
And the troll probably goes, "Ooh," does acknowledge it, understands something of speech clearly. And you get that up. Let's come to Gisley.
Get one more shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the well. I'm gonna try to find that opportunity to get that knife in that soft spot.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and use some luck too. We've got to bring this to a close.
Sure. It is at right now because it can't parry when it's got that effect on it. So that's going to be 13. It's at a -3. So my roll will put. You need to hit a 14 to hit it.
Okay, and that's before the modifiers.
That's before the modifiers.
Gotcha. So there's still the -1 for
location and -3 for strong. So basically, you need to hit an 18.
Gotcha. Where are you? There you are. Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay. So that will hit. Let's have you roll your damage. That is 12. So essentially that cuts a little bit into it. This thing is so tough. I mean, you were hoping for a crit to be able to kind of do that damage and get past it, and you just missed that. But I mean, this thing is a troll. It's a freaking troll.
I could just freaking die. Come
on. Which brings us to Rania.
So I see that spectacle happen.
Yep.
And it's not going to be an eye roll. I think no, because she figures no. The eye roll is too subtle. No, this has to be. She's bringing out the big sigh.
Okay.
And because we're in a cave, that's magnified. I don't have to roll for that. And I think this is. I'm just imagining the troll is kind of yelling at XF,
right,
while Gisley's hanging ineffectively off it. And I shake my head and just like, again, I'm gonna try it. It's another called shot. Yeah.
Okay. So it has a roll. Its starting defense. You need to beat a 13.
Okay. Is there a is it
with all the -3 and -1? Effectively, you need to hit a 17 with your roll.
Okay. That's a 24.
Okay, so that will hit. It will also do a crit, which it's a chest crit for simple. So it's going to take additional damage. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh, yep. That's a 21.
21. So plus, so it does that minus that is so 6, and then that, and then that. So yeah, that arrow, another one. It isn't quite as nice as that last shot that you sunk deep into it, but now it's got a couple of arrows in it. It's bleeding, so it's taking that damage. And it is going to take a swing at you, Axeth. And it is at a -3. So it becomes a 5, and that is a 12. So I've got an 18 to hit you with this strong strike from the troll.
Okay. So I will attempt to parry that.
Okay.
So that's swordsmanship. And I got a 27. Oh, and that's a 10.
You don't have to roll again.
Okay.
There's no critical defenses. But tell me what that looks like. It turns and it puts both hands on that club and it goes to just bring that down and drive you like a spike into the ground.
Right. And I think what happens is where, as it kind of brings down the club and loses its line of sight, Exith sidesteps, and it's so fast that the troll brings down the club, and it's almost as if she teleported in his mind. This thing is just zipping around. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and you still got that kind of glow with the shield as it brings it down. That's probably illuminating this chamber as much as the lantern is. Arak.
I'm going to go with the staff again. Try and trip it, knock it off balance.
Okay. So I've got a 4, which becomes a 1 plus 7 plus 2. So I got a 13.
I got a 17 this time.
So it's already off balance from that parry. And you will get that in there, and this time probably catch it behind the leg and kind of push hard, and it drops to one knee, and it is even more off balance than it already was. Sound fair?
Yep.
Okay. Which brings us around to Exith again.
So I think for Exith, she's going to step forward. Yeah, I still like my chances better with using a sword than anything else. So I think she's going to step forward and try to do a thrust into its belly. This is the same thing.
Sure.
A quick, almost carving Zoro like out a Z. This is 2 quick swipes, 2 attacks.
Okay.
So that's a -1.
-1. The first one you need to hit a 16.
Okay. And I got a 19.
Okay, so that will hit.
Yes. And the second one?
Okay. Will also require a 16.
Is an 18. No, that's got a mod. That second one was I rolled a 1, so it's going to be less.
Yeah, so roll a d10.
I rolled an 8.
Okay. So you will hit with the first blow, but not with the second one.
Right. And it wasn't a fumble, right?
There's not a fumble.
And then my damage is 22.
22.
The first one.
So that will go in. That goes past. Does that. It is on its last legs. It's still up and moving, but on its last legs. Gisli. It is much easier to hit now. It's been tripped and thrown off by that parry.
So you can feel Arania's eyes on you.
The pressure. I'm almost thinking instead of doing the called shot, I'm just going to try to just find an opportunity. Just try to see if I can land a blow.
Okay. So right now, I rolled a 1 minus 6 becomes a -5 onto his thing there. So I've got a 10.
Okay. I've got a 24.
24. So let's have you roll 2d6 for the crit.
Here we go. An 11.
An 11. So we find this on that chart. And so this is a typical crit. So the 11. So this blow hits it in the head. Tell me what that looks like. What do we see happen there? Because you're going to kill it.
Gotcha. So did you say that the troll was already down on its knees?
On its knees, kind of trying to get up to get at you. What do we see?
So he basically takes his poignard and just sinks it deep in the side of the neck and just sort of the glory yell, just sort of letting it all out.
And it had to push hard to get past the troll's skin.
2 hands.
And it's just, it will go in, and it's mostly the crit damage, that bonus damage you get from that actually makes it gargle, and then it will collapse, just that meaty thud of the body hitting the floor in this chamber. And there is blood everywhere.
Did everybody see that? Did everybody see that? Rania?
Well, we soften it up for you, Gizly. And she walks over and pats you in the head. And then she smells the excrement off you and jumps away. Well, kind of strides away, actually. No, it wouldn't jump.
That makes sense to me. Arak, what do you want to do?
Well, Exeth took a pretty hard hit there, so I'm going to go apply, I guess my healing hands, try to help him out.
Okay, let's have you roll that. Let me find my little thing on healing here.
Oh, and I rolled a 1, so that's yes. So I've got a total of a 10.
That is a 10. Let me check the healing notes here, which I have.
Yeah, walk it off. You'll be fine.
Walk it off. I like that. That makes sense. One sec. We haven't really had the combat healing here, so I need to pull that up real quick. Because everything has a subsystem. Oh, Witcher. Why would you not put this in a... Well, let's look in the index. Okay. Thank you for not hyperlinking the index. Okay. Okay. So did you hit a 10?
Yes, I got exactly 10.
Okay. So you will regain, what's your rec, Exith?
Okay, let me look. Rec is 9.
9. So you're going to heal 13 points from that healing hands. What is dwarven treatment for the bruised face and the blood? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking his head in my hands and I'm like twisting it to the left, and I'm twisting it to the right, and then like I put some salve on it, and yeah, you look good.
Dwarven osteopath. So yeah, absolutely. So you'll get that on him there, on her, and kind of get that a little cleanup. While that's going on, Gizly, Rania, what are you doing?
Should we check the body?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it'll take the two of you to search it, just because you do have to kind of move and lift up stuff. There's the club. There's the sort of the simple trollish loincloth, but you will also find that he has this kind of makeshift satchel, like what would be a backpack for somebody else, tied to his belt. Is more like a side pocket, and you will see that there are like some marbles in there, some shiny bits of glass, like some seashells, and some other kind of like weird baubles and trinkets in the bag. And unlike the other things that you've seen here in the cave, they are not like filthy.
Can we like figure out from there, just from looking through what he has, where he might have possibly gotten those?
Absolutely. Weirdly enough, we have a deduction skill in this game.
Huh. Where is that? Oh, there's a lot of skills. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I might let Gisley do that because he has
Okay.
a better deduction skill than me. I think I look through this and pick out a marble and kind of flick it at him. It's like, this seems to be your area of expertise.
You know, I catch it, I fumble it, I take a close look. So I do have some ranks in deduction. Do you want me?
Yeah.
Is the mechanic give it a
Yep.
roll?
Yep. Go ahead and roll.
19.
So you look at this, and this is very clearly a payoff that the troll has gotten. Like someone has given them this set of baubles and things like that. And I think you've been around enough that you can recognize at least sort of one of the like pieces that's here looks Nilfgaardian. Like it has that sort of, there might have a coin or something here that's nubbed down that looks like a Nilfgaardian, like old, fairly valueless, like a hay penny kind of coin.
Gotcha. So I share this with this information with Iraq and Rania and Exeth while he's being treated, or she's being treated.
With that information in hand, let's take our 5-minute break, and then we'll continue afterwards.
So did I miss something? Is this being recorded? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I record. My sessions I record and then upload later.
So I see. So it's still listed on mine as being off air, and it might be I'm having some weird connection problem or something.
Well, so I don't know. I've got it. Mine says live.
Okay.
It might be maybe because I've got it set to private because it's not actually broadcasting.
Okay.
I'm seeing live as well.
Okay.
So it just must be my connection.
Yeah.
Since it's working for me, I'm not going to try and mess with anything. But yeah. Okay. Good.
So this is clearly the troll. You have the evidence that the troll was involved in these kidnappings, and now you have strong hints that the Nilfgaardians have been involved in this as well. But you've at least dealt with the threat, though you don't have any of the young women or any idea what's happened to them.
Yeah, just curious. Anything else that might identify a particular sort of clan or person in the Nilfgaardian regiment, or is it just sort of a generic, kind of a trinket coin?
It strikes you as this is the kind of things that wouldn't be like just like the standard walk around guards would have, but it might be things that a higher placed commander might have for trading or things like that.
Gotcha.
I have a mechanical question.
Absolutely.
In my bag, I have a concoction or decoction formula of troll. And it states under the notes, regen 5 hit points per round.
Yep.
75% toxic, 30 minutes per.
Okay. So when you drink that, it'll last for 30 minutes. You can drink as many potions as you like, provided that the total toxicity percentage doesn't bypass 100.
I see. And if it lasts for 30 minutes and you have 5 hit points and it regens 5 hit points per round.
If you drink that, you'll be full up.
Okay.
But that will also be that potion gone.
Right. So I think I'm going to do that because there's no reason. We're in the middle of there are the creatures that are on the way out.
Uh-huh.
And we still don't know who else is involved with this. And if they ambush us on the way out, suspect something's going on, I need to be at my full wits.
Absolutely. What do you think that thing tastes like?
So I think that this cave itself, to my Witcher senses, smells of unwashed troll sweat and just god-awful mess. And I think that's what this potion tastes like normally, is just an overpowering mixture of this troll musk along with the blood and essence that's now mixing inside this cave.
Yeah. So it's a taste and a smell you've been bathing in for the last, a half hour.
But amplified, 10x, because that was just smelling it. This is consuming it and feeling it within. Yes.
Yeah, I imagine that part of Witcher training is learning how to drink all of those awful Witcher potions without puking. That's the unglamorous side of the training. It's not the parkour part. So you drink that, the wounds will heal up. It looks like the other creatures in the cave, they seem to be waiting. They know that there's a body, and they're clearly, they're carrion beasts. So they kind of wait, and they're clearly going to wait for you four to leave the cave.
So I think we need to take back some proof. Do Witchers carry trophies?
They can, as proof for bounties.
So I think in this case we need to take back the head, to the village to show them, we have taken care of the threat.
Okay. So let's see. Yes, that's a pretty big head.
That's right.
So I imagine that you have some tools for decapitating the troll. And perhaps the dwarf can help you with a bone saw or two.
Sure.
So yeah, you can set to. You can put it in a bag, a la Clash of the Titans, and have it with you. And you'll head back through the caves. Pretty much as soon as you pass those crevices and get towards the entrance of the cave, you hear the scuttling as the rest of the group there go to essentially to a feast on the troll's body. And the four of you can head back. It is late. There's a little bit of moonlight out. You're a little exhausted, but you can work to find your way back. Let me ask you this. It's after dusk, probably after curfew at this point. The town's probably a little bit locked up. And there are these Nilfgaardian, standard watch guard persons moving around. What do you want to do? Do you want to try and sneak in and get to the tavern? Do you want to camp out in that abandoned house? Do you want to stay outside the city limits? What do you think, Arak?
I think if Gizli can't find us a way into town, then I have severely underestimated him.
Okay. Gizli, do you want to take point on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to see if I can kind of lead them through and tell them where to step, where not to step. Sort of pause, keep moving.
Okay. Do you want to do this as your practice paranoia, or do you want to do this as your stealth? Your one.
I think I want to do this as stealth. Although, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find. There it is, stealth. Yeah. Let me give that a shot.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
22.
That is a 9. That's great. What is it that Gizli does? How do you? I mean, is it just pure stealth, or are you doing distractions? What's Gizli's tactic for this kind of thing?
He almost takes this as an opportunity to kind of show off, and so he sneaks, and there's a guard just around the corner, sort of sipping something. And when the guard looks in the opposite direction, he reaches around and he grabs a bread off of his plate. He's just kind of showing off to the rest of the guys. And, you just wait a moment. And, there's traffic going by as far as just sort of like the night guard or the watchman calling out the hours. And, Gizli walks up right behind him and just sort of takes steps right behind him. And as he turns to the left, Gizli does one of those.
Okay.
But, yes.
Absolutely. And the guards, they don't seem to be on that much of alert. A little surprising given the kidnappings. And so the four of you will be able to move back. You'll knock at the back door of the tavern. And the tavern owner will open it up and see you and probably see your face, Exith. Even with the healing potion, I imagine it kind of looks like that late stage bruise where you get that kind of green on the edges of the bruise. I don't know if you've seen that kind of big bruise.
And I think that portion of my hair is still bright red from the blood. It's now caked and dried, so it's kind of this brownish color, but it's almost like I'm a corpse walking in.
And he's come in. He looks around. He can see that you're all a little more haggard, a little more dirty, a little more. And he'll hand you a knife to clean your boots. And He's like, what did you find out? What happened?
And I think Exith doesn't say anything, just puts the wet squelch of the bag on the table and, sits down in a chair and lets the others discuss what happened.
Yeah. Even as they're talking, I'm assuming the tavern keeper's eyes are probably still wandering over to that bag. He seems maybe terrified of that. He'll turn to you, and he will turn to Gisli because you're the other human, and say, "What happened?"
It was a terrible fight. We almost all lost our lives. It was horrendous, but it's okay. I saved my mates. I was able to single-handedly kill the troll. And then look at this. And I spilled the trinkets on the table. I think we have a conspiracy. Right, friends?
You always think there's a conspiracy.
And Exith spits blood on the floor about this time.
Wait, I don't understand. So the troll took the women?
This troll was directed to take the women.
And none of the women were there. There was no evidence of them ever being near the troll.
And he'll point at the trinkets and he'll say, then who? What?
We haven't made that connection yet. I sort of look quizzically, I guess, at my mates, and we just, there's some sort of connection, I guess, between the Nilfgaardians and the troll, but just we don't know yet. Not enough information.
We'll need your help to tell us more about what could be doing this. Who could be directing this?
I don't know. I mean, when Lord Noak came in, I mean, he set himself up. He's the Nilfgaardian person who's overseeing us, and I mean, I don't know why, unless he just, I mean, we've been terrified of this rather than worrying about, disrupting him. I don't know. Do you think the girls are still alive?
We saw no evidence that they were killed. However, we don't know why they were taken.
Yeah, does Lord Noak have a permanent camp, or even just a temporary camp somewhere near here?
He's set up at the house. It's essentially the high building where the previous lord lived. It has it's a stone fortification for if things happened in the town, people to fall back to.
Well, I don't know. What do you think, Rania and the Rack? Should we pay a visit? Is it premature?
I suggest we don't pursue this until we're at our fullest. And she takes a look at Exeth. At least for now, let's not rush into things.
Well, the rooms. I'll show you up to them. You can rest, recover, and we can speak in the morning.
Speak to no one of this.
Well, no. And he'll gesture to the head, and he'll say, "What am I to do with this?"
We'll take care of it.
Okay. And he'll get a rag to mop up the troll blood that's on his counter now. And all of you can rest. You can head up. He'll give you a couple of rooms. You can crash. If you're down hit points, you can recover equal to your wreck from a simple rest here.
I've lost no hit points. Pays to not get near enemies.
Need combatants with missile weapons then. So in the morning, Tavern Keeper will wake you up. He will say, I spoke to some of the other people in town to see if they had heard anything, but there's been no change. I didn't say anything of what you told me, though. Now, I know that I couldn't ask you to do more. But, and I'll certainly get my cousin to lead you to the past if you want to go tonight. But what do you think we should do? What should the village do? You have more experience with war than we do.
Exeth, how are you feeling this morning?
Well enough to deal with any danger. We should confront those at the manor so that they won't repeat this again.
And the Tavern Keeper says, what will you do? I mean, Lord Noax, you four are on the run. If he sees you, the guards see you.
Aran's been looking out the window all this time because that's because she's not looking, she's barely paying attention, but she's just like another long suffering sigh, and she's like, well, we have an expert in getting into places without seeing. Every syllable is agony. We don't need to walk up to their gates and demand justice. Do we?
Exith, of course, is stoic, and I think replies, "This has to stop." That's not yes or no, but this has to stop.
Gisley interjects it. Whoa. I came from a mud hole just like this, and when we're gone, what's to prevent things from getting even worse? Another general, another troop of soldiers come through, get revenge. I mean, this can't be half-assed. And what are we even involved in this for? This is not even our war. Why don't we just pick up and keep moving?
It is our job to protect people, and it is our job to... Is it our job to keep the girls safe?
You don't know. I mean, you agreed to follow up on this case. I mean, that's probably the motivation that's pulling at you, is that you agreed to the job, and the job is not quite finished.
So as a witcher, it is my job to kill monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is it also my job to defend the weak, to defend the people? Because I think the monster's been dealt with.
From supernatural harms, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Witchers tend to try not to get dragged into other political things, but there is still the question of these young women.
So I think that Exeth is basically considers anyone who would consort with monsters in order to get what they want, which appears to be happening here, would do so again. And this is a threat that must be dealt with. But from talking to her, you realize it doesn't matter if this is something we threaten them and get them to stop, we overthrow them and get them to stop, we kill them and get them to stop. She doesn't care, whatever you guys decide.
Right. Well, I mean, I think we don't have anything we can threaten them with. We still don't know where the girls are or why they wanted them. I think we need to do some detective work and figure out where the girls were taken and why they wanted them.
Well, certainly, you've mentioned your criminal. Your criminal could go and try and sneak his way onto the manor house grounds, go over the wall, and I'm sure he would love to do that.
Yeah, I think ultimately, I mean, as I sort of explore this or think about this, I think he's got some fealty. I mean, is that the right word, to The Witcher? And he's willing to go through these sort of situations or that he might not normally go into.
I think Rania just shrugs. She's just there to learn how to kill people. And, Witchers know how to kill a lot of things.
So does that seem... So what I'm hearing is wait until dark, check the place out, see what you can find out?
I kind of want to track where the troll was coming from. As in, where did it come from? Like, where was it meeting? Like, maybe where was it meeting to get those trinkets? Like,
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, what path did it follow to get to the cave?
Absolutely. And again, I am going to assume after dark, so you're not spotted out in the open, that kind of thing. So let's have you make a wilderness survival check to kind of read the tracks. We'll move forward to the evening. We'll start with you kind of looking around.
All right. I got a 19.
So you will see the path that it came, and the manor house is sort of a little bit outside the town toward the northern end. It's a stone household. It's got reasonably low walls. It's not a castle. It's just a fairly secure place. But you will definitely see that there is an old oak tree, sort of halfway between the town and the manor house. You can see the troll's tracks have gone there, and there are essentially boot tracks of the guards that come there as well. Does that seem like fair info? Arak, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm sort of deferring to Gisli at this point. I think this is more his area of expertise. That's the...
So I mean, I'm convinced. I think that this is sort of the next place that we should explore. I mean, I think I'm hearing that we want to do this in the dark. And I think I'm also hearing the entire group is going, correct?
It's up to you how you want to do this. You could go in and scout on your own, or you could try to lead the four of them in.
Well, let me just understand. I guess that manor house, I mean, is it walled? Is it just sort of a standalone structure? Is it?
There is a wall around the outside. It's a 3-level sort of stone household. From talking with the tavern keeper that there is like a wine cellar and there is a dungeon to it. So it's not castle big, but it's definitely substantial.
Gotcha.
There's stables on the inside of the wall, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So, knowing what we know about the town, is there a chance that it could be the guards doing it and not the head of the manor?
Why don't you make a deduction roll?
Okay. Because so far, the only people we've seen implicated are the guards. Okay.
This is organized enough and kind of more dangerous enough that guards wouldn't do this on their own.
Okay, that makes sense. So we are headed in the correct direction. That this is not the person in charge must have done this.
Right, Lord Noak.
So in the process of planning this out, look to the group, and I don't know. I mean, do you guys want me to sort of try to sneak in and perhaps unlock the gate and we all go in, or what do you all have in mind?
I think we should search the grounds as a group and see if we can find perhaps where they might be keeping the girls.
The dungeon might be the best place to start.
So this is the challenge then for you, Gisley, is sneaking these other three into the grounds. I mean, there are guards on the grounds, and finding your way there. Does that seem like a reasonable task?
Yep. I think I'm hearing that's what the plan is. That we're all going in.
Okay. Then let's start with Gisley. Let's do the stealth roll. Essentially, we'll see based on the three of them. Let's see it. Do you want to spend any luck on this?
I think I do.
Yeah.
This feels pretty critical.
Sure.
So what is the individual bonus? I know for
1 for 1.
1 for 1. Oh, okay.
Right. Well, I'll spend one of my luck to help out.
Okay. There's a +2.
Cool. Okay. So would that be a total of +3 then? My 1 plus Arak's 2?
Absolutely. +3. Make a stealth roll with the additional +3 bonus.
Oh, cool. 22.
Okay. Well, my thought was a DC of 15, because this is tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then +2 DC for each additional person. So I was actually going to set it at 21. So you have just edged that out. What is the sort of the vulnerability in the guards here that allows you to get your group inside the walls and moving around on the grounds?
Perhaps there's some loose bricks towards the rear that perhaps we spotted in the process of making our way up to the manor. And like I said, it's at the rear of the manor. It's a place that's really not carefully watched. Maybe there's just a lot of foliage or shrubs or whatnot that allow us to kind of sneak and hide, and we sort of squeeze the bricks out and can just get enough of them out of the way that we can slide through.
Yeah, they have the advantage of the guards. They've only been here for a month and a half or so. They don't know the place all that well, and so you will be able to get onto the grounds itself, and you're kind of moving around. There are horses in the stable. There are probably some guards at the gate, maybe 1 or 2 that move around the grounds, but they're not like particularly, they're just generally keeping an eye out, not expecting an assault or anything like that. Certainly not expecting the town to do anything, given how scared they are. So let me come to the others. As you're moving around on the grounds and maybe kind of checking out the house, what do we see? What is it that you're doing? What are you looking for? Let's start with Exith.
So, Exith is actually, I think she's brought the troll head.
Okay.
And she leaves this right. I'm sorry?
I picture you pushing it through the gap in the wall.
I think she's actually going to leave it just outside the wall.
Okay.
Like where the brush is, kind of secret it behind the brush.
Okay.
So she's not carrying it around inside the building. That would be silly.
Sure.
However, she is, as we approach different places, she is, sniffing the air and listening closely to see if she can pick up any any sign of the girls.
Okay. Let me see. Why don't you make a awareness roll?
Okay. That's a 21.
That's a 21. So you will move around here, and there is a space on the grounds where you will see sort of built into the ground. There are these iron bars sort of set into stone that is on the ground, and you can kind of look down, and a little bit of moonlight will catch down. It's clearly this sort of narrow shaft. It's just meant to let the rain down in, and you can see a couple of huddled figures inside this cell. The actual sort of thing that goes down is not wide enough to allow, even if you were to pull the metal bars out to climb down. But you can certainly confirm that there are these teen girls who are locked in this dungeon.
So I told the rest of them the girls have been located. They are in the dungeon, and we have proof that these people have done this, that the head of the manor has done this, and they should be dealt with.
Arak?
I mean, I think we need to get the girls out of here. I mean, dealing with the Lord of the Manor, this is too big a job for us. Let the town deal with it once we bring back proof.
Can the town deal with it? If the town could have dealt with the troll, they would have.
Monsters are one thing. Politics is another. And what do you think, Gisley? Do you think we can take out the Lord?
I feel like we've gotten this far. I don't know. What do you say, Rania?
Well, lords are human, right? Elf guardians, they hide themselves over all these, recruitments and whatnot, but pulse is a pulse. I'd say let's free these ladies now, and also while we're here inside, we might as well deal them a blow.
So, politically,
yeah,
what would it be like for a group like ours? We were sent this direction.
The Elf Guardians are hunting you. If they find you, they've already mentioned about the Outrider captain, who, when he captures you, will pour molten steel down your throat.
That's right.
Essentially, this is occupied territory.
So we need to get moving. My suggestion is to kill the Baron, was it?
And Lord Nowak.
The Lord here in his bed, and then we'll take the girls with us when we leave.
I think we should release the girls first and send them home before we confront the Lord.
And why is that?
In case we fail.
And Exeth just stoically says, "Dead is dead."
Yes, but if the four of us die and the girls live, that is better than the four of us die and leaving the girls to their fate.
If you say so.
So you want to try and move inside and figure out the way down to the dungeon? Okay. Let's have either Rania or a rock make an awareness roll. Just because we haven't had you make roll recently. Who wants to do that?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Use those elf eyes.
Yeah. Let's.
That's okay. That's a 13.
Okay.
Right, but you rolled a 1, so you need to
Oh yeah. What do I need to do again?
roll another d10 and subtract.
Oh jeez. Okay, that's off. Oh my god.
So you can get inside the house and kind of, moving quietly through here, and you go, this is the way down. Direct the group which direction you need to head, and you start to go down those stairs. And there is a locked door that you need to open. So let's have you roll your pick locks, Gisley.
Yes. So I've got a lockpick kit. Does that provide any bonus, or does that just mean that I can pick locks?
Let's say +2.
A +2? Okay. Just trying to find it. The skill, that is.
It is under craft, because that makes sense.
But of course, I'm crafting an unlocked door. Okay, here we go. You said +2.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh, I think because you did a ++.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, but technically, that's let's see, what, a 17 + 2, 19?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you will get this open. Get to pop this lock, and the door comes open, and you are literally face to face with a pair of these guards. They've kind of walking up. They had, got some wine, got a loaf of bread, and the elvish ears didn't pick up the sound of them. You were concentrating on this, and they are right there, and there's this look on their face. What do you do, Gisley?
What are you doing with that wine?
All right. What do you think this is? Deceit?
I think so.
I'll let you use deceit because it's so absurd that you might throw them off here. At least hold their attention for a moment. Let's see it.
Let's see. That would be empathy. Yes.
Yep.
And trustworthy is a perk that I have, by the way. So +1 to charisma, seduction, and persuasion checks. Oh, but that doesn't qualify as deceit. Okay.
Okay.
So I just lost a seat. Here it is. And, I'm going to spend a luck on this because this could save us some trouble.
Burn it to the ground.
Sure.
I'm going to spend a luck as well.
Okay. Another +2.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is just the guards see behind, see me behind them, and that adds to the gravity.
Ooh.
So that's a 20. So there is that moment where you get that, like, you get that opportunity, that round where their mouths are kind of hanging open. They've got the wine where they do that double take, and you have an opportunity to act before they can get their wits about them. So what do you do, Arak?
I mean, I'm going to take my staff and clock one of them in the head.
Okay. Kind of step down in and boom. Let's have you roll that. So they have that. So that will hit. Not a crit, but that will hit. Roll damage. Okay. So that does that. All right. So that will hit them, and essentially I rolled their stun number. I rolled above their stun number. So you get up and you will smack this first one off his feet, like hit him in the head, and he'll kind of drop back and crumple. Looks dazed from that shot. What do you do, Exith?
We're still trying to be quiet. They haven't raised the alarm.
You have just a few moments to act before they give away with the hue and cry.
Okay, so would there be any way to, like, grab the one that's still standing around the neck? It's the one that he clocked. Is it down? Are they unconscious or down? Or
I would say what it is essentially, if somebody moves up, they can render him unconscious with a single action.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my intent was to stun.
Okay. And I think that'll be the same thing in my case. Is I'm going to step up and I'm going to put some kind of headlock or throw something to silence them.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll brawling.
Brawling. Let's see. Oh, I have no dice in brawling, so I can still roll that, right?
Oh, yeah, you can still roll that. Absolutely.
Okay. So let me put that down. That's a 19.
Okay. So even though you have no dice in brawling, I imagine it's more of that you wildly fling yourself forward, as you might jump on a monster and kind of smash into this guy, and you kind of got him locked up on that. What do you want to do, Rania?
I'm gonna punch the one that Arak stunned. Just punch him.
And essentially you can move over and deliver that essentially pommel strike and drop him to the ground. The Witcher has his other guard grabbed. What do you do, Gisli?
Man. So Exeth has got one in some sort of a lock or a grapple.
But you can tell that this is not something she's good at.
Gotcha.
It's only because she's so strong.
Sure. So I noticed that I've got chloroform in my grab bag. Would that require too much preparation, or is that?
No, you could use that. That seems a thing.
So I'm gonna just rank up or crank up the absurdity to 11. And
yeah, no, they have it. So essentially, we see you go shh, 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 shh,
Exactly.
and kind of put that, and there'll be the eyes, and you probably catch the wine bottle as it falls out of
Yes.
his hand, so it doesn't hit the ground. Yeah, and you can. I mean, these guys could have sounded the alarm. Everything could have gone pear-shaped, but you've got both of them out. And it looks like these are the two guards that are down here for this dungeon level. So let me ask you this: do you want to tie them up? Do you want to finish them off? What do you want to do? Do you want to lock them in a cell? How do you want to handle this?
They have those coin things you love, right, Gisley?
Gisley's not a cold-blooded killer. I feel like he might just sort of, look to the group. I mean, can we just stick some rags in their mouth and tie them up? I mean, what do you all say?
Yeah, I think that's Rock's preference too. Just tie them up and get the girls out of the cell.
Grab their keys. You can find the closest cell. Rags, manacles. Throw them in. New pair of boots for you, Gisley. And essentially get them in there. And you'll walk down, and you will see that there are 5 young women who are in a pair of cells, and they look exhausted. They're still kind of dirty and bedraggled from the abduction, and they look up at you with some terror in their eyes when you all come up to the thing. Though then they see the Witcher and the elf and the dwarf, and they're like, "Who are you?"
And Exit steps up to the. Have we already unlocked the cells?
You can do that, yeah.
Yeah. So as the cells are being unlocked, Exit steps up to the young ladies and says, "Who put you in here, and why?"
The Lord, it said that was keeping a reign of terror. Was gonna wait a while and then send us back to Nilfgaard to work in the for servants.
You will go back to your family now.
Oh, okay. And you're a Witcher. This is something they've only heard of, and so there is this weird, like, they're freaked out by this as much as this whole experience. And they'll say, "How do we get out?"
So, Gimli, do you think you'll be able to take these girls out? Gisley?
Yeah. Sure. Of course I can.
All right.
Do you need a distraction? Or do you think it'd be best not to do that? And then we can go after the Lord.
Yeah, no, that would help. That would be good. Yeah, I was just wondering, how are we going to keep them safe? Because, I mean, what's to stop the guards from coming back tomorrow and taking the girls again?
Well, obviously they don't want to take the girls openly. That's why they had this whole misdirection with the troll. So I think if we can get the girls home, their parents can protect them, at least hide them for a few days. Certainly they'll be safer there than here.
Gisley, I think it's a simple stealth roll for you to get them up and out into that back place. You've already kind of mapped the guards' routines. I think it's be just so easy. Knowing that 10% of the time you'll roll a 1.
I'm so confident. I'm not even going to spend luck on this.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you will will get them. They stay low, and you'll run them back out, and they'll go to that hole in the wall, and they will clamber out. And probably the first one goes, "Oh, oh God, there's a head." And that does hold them up for a second as they hit exits a trophy in the bushes, but then they will kind of clamber past that. Gisli gets these young women out, and I assume the four of you are going to try and make your way up to wherever the Lord's chambers are. Okay. There are a few more guards in the household. But you've kind of marked where they're at. There's been no cry from outside, so they are seated around. It's also fairly late. As you move sort of, around quietly, you will hear voices. And you can kind of carefully move over, and you guess what must be the dining hall, or even maybe to the reception hall. You're not sure what. Certainly one of the larger rooms of the manor. There's a little bit of that glow of firelight coming under the door, like there's a fireplace going in there. And you will hear two voices, one a little more lilting, like maybe a little more cultured. The other one a little more gravelly. They're speaking in Nilfgaardian to one another. You might be able to pick up a few things, but they seem to be just having kind of a general discourse about events in Nilfgaard. What do you want to do? You're at that door. I heard assassins. Exit. Is this your? I mean.
So if no one else is going to do anything, I think Exith, stands up straight and lifts her foot as if to kick in the door. Everyone good with this? Yeah. So I guess that's the way it goes down.
Okay.
Exith just kicks in the door and steps into the room. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to cast that Quinn again, which gives me some health point armor kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because that troll hurt.
Yeah. You'll do that, and you will kick this door in. And that sound carries. You will see there's a modest feasting table. There is a guard pretty close by the fireplace who's sort of snoozing, who will start up, and you will see these two people at the table talking. One is dressed a little more regally. You guess that that's Lord Noak, just his other dress. The other person is dressed in sort of officer uniform, light armor of the Nilfgaardian troops, and they seem to be having some kind of late night discussion conversation. There's cheese, food, wine on the table, and they do. I mean, their heads turn around as you come in. So exit. You kick this door in, and then.
Oh, I'm going straight for the Lord.
Okay. All right. Then you can do a move, and you can attack if you want.
Sure. That sounds great. I think my Witcher training probably kicks in. In this case, who's the biggest threat in the room? I can roll something for that. Is it the guard? Is it the military guy, or the Baron? I'm assuming it's not the Baron.
Well, the officer who's there, has his sword by him. He's in armor. He looks nasty. I mean, he's a grizzled military guy.
So it probably makes sense to change from going after the Lord to going after the guy in armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he is going to try and essentially push this chair to kind of dodge out of the way as you come in at him. So he is going to get. He starts with a 16 plus 7. He's a 23.
Okay. And I'm going to swipe at him with my sword.
Okay.
Does this also get the, one attack doubled or 2 attacks kind of thing?
I think that it does because essentially this is your action. You did a move action, then you can do your standard attack, which is either 1 shot at a minus or 2 regular shots.
Right. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to go after him with strength in this
Okay.
case.
All right.
See about doubling that up, and that swordsmanship. That's a 21.
So that is going to miss.
Right.
So essentially, he kind of rolls and kicks and pushes the chair to get some breathing room there. Arak, what do you do?
I guess I'm going to go after the guard,
Okay.
and I'll do 2 blows with my staff.
All right. The guard tries to get up, but you can tell that like he loosened his boots, so his laces are undone, and he's been kind of sitting there. He rolls a 1 and a 6. So let's have you roll to hit.
17.
That is 17. That is not enough to do a crit, but you will hit him. Go ahead and roll your hit location.
That's 2d6.
For 1d10 for standard hit.
1d10. Okay. Okay, just a second. Oops. Ten. Oh.
That is a 10. So that will hit him in the leg, is where you will hit him. So go ahead and roll your damage.
19.
19. So as he's getting up, you rush up and you hit him, and I mean it's a bone-cracking strike there on his legs. And while he's not out, I'm going to say he falls to the floor from that. Essentially, just that big metal iron staff across his shin, and kind of gives with a little bit of a splinter there. Rania.
I'm following X's lead.
Okay.
They went for the soldier person. I'm also going to go for the soldier person. So,
Okay.
so when
Yeah.
X's
Yeah, and
missed-
I actually had a second blow there. So can I just give him a little whack in the head and just knock him out?
Okay. Let's have you roll for that second attack. I'm sorry. Let's resolve that.
Yeah, 18.
Yes. So that will hit him. That's enough for a crit, which I think, given your base damage, I think that where do you hit him with that blow?
I think I'm trying to hit him in the head, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to knock him out.
Yeah. He stands up, you hit him in the shins, and then as he falls, you bring that metal cudgel down on his head, and it'll probably bounce off the floor, and he is out. Sorry. Arania. So
Yes,
I have an 8 for my dodge, plus 16 is I've got 24 for my dodge right now.
I'm going to spend a luck. for
Okay.
this. So that's just a +1, right?
Yep.
Cool. Oh god, that's a 27.
Yeah, so you will hit. Go ahead and roll a d10 for location.
Mm-hmm. So 3.
3. So you hit him straight in the torso. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah, that's a 25.
25. So he has a little bit of armor there, but you will bury that into him, and he cries out because he's going to take 13 points through on that. Yeah, so that arrow goes right into his chest, and he kind of staggers back from that. Gisli.
I'm going to throw a couple of knives. I'm going to see if I can do the double attack, or does that only apply to melee, we said?
So you can do it with throwing knives. You can do it because it's just rapid fire.
Gotcha.
And actually, we'll come back again to Rania in a second because as an elf, they can do the 2 standard attacks.
Okay.
But let's do your 2 knives. Who you want to throw them at?
I'm going to use the same target as.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I've got a 16. I've got a 19 for this first dodge.
Oh, explodes.
Okay. Roll again. Or another D10 rather.
There we go.
So 33 over 19 means you beat that by 14. So that is a difficult critical. Roll me 2d6.
Oops. Oh, man. There we go. 7.
7. So this first blow, and you can roll your damage. And he's going to take that. So it's a 20.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Every once in a while, when I press a button on this sheet, it jumps to another page. But
Yeah.
Here we go. 14.
14. And he's down that on that. So this first one, the first dagger that you throw, it buries itself right in the side, right in the rib cage, and you can you can tell that knife went in and punctured a lung. Like immediately, there's foaming blood, and he kind of eyes get wide. I'm going to come back to our elvish friend, have him do his second attack, and then I'll have you do your second attack.
That's good.
Okay, Rania.
Okay, so when that knife lands in, I give Gisli a look like, don't start shouting. And yes, let me roll.
So I've got a 20 if you're firing at that same target.
21.
So that will hit. Roll your damage.
All right.
Oh, sorry, roll location. Sorry. Just a D10. 8. So that'll go into his leg. Go ahead and roll damage.
15.
15. So this second shot goes in and sort of like lands in his the meat of his thigh, but doesn't go too deep. Like the armor there kind of caught quite a bit of that. Let's come back to you, Gisli.
Okay. Let's see. There we go. 25.
25, and he's got that. So 6 plus that is a 24. So yes, that'll just hit.
Cool.
D10 for location.
Ooh. A 4.
So straighten the torso and roll your damage.
I'm 11.
Okay. So what you will see is essentially he's gone ashen pale. He's arrows, knives in him. Blood is kind of foaming out. He is still up, and he is grabbing at that blade. So now we're going to do initiative. So we will see what Lord Nowak and this officer known as Crucible are going to do. So Crucible is on 19. And then Nowak is on 14. Iraq.
10.
10. Gisli.
15.
Exith.
13.
And Arania.
And 13.
13. Okay. So Exith, you were the closest one. when this officer draws out the blade and is going to, let's see. I think he's going to take 2 shots. So this is going to be the first shot from him, which is going to be 7 plus 9 is 16. So I've got a 24 for this first shot on you.
Yeah, that's a dodge.
Parry or dodge?
Oh, you're right. Let's do parry.
Okay.
So I got a 19.
19. So he will hit you with that one. And essentially he'll hit you in the chest. For 13 points.
Okay.
What is your armor in the chest area?
It is 8.
Okay, so
take 5.
Take 5. It's not a bad hit at all. His second shot is just a 19 to hit you.
Okay. Roll my swordsmanship for that, for the parry. And that is a 22.
Oh yeah. You turn that shot aside, which opens him up. Gisley.
I've only got 5 throwing knives and I've used 2.
Yep.
I think I'm just going to run up and try to attack the same target that Exeth is attacking.
Okay. At the top of the next row. So he is going to try and parry to throw you off, which means he's got 16 plus 4 is 20. Minus the 3 is a 17 because Exeth did that parry and kind of opened up his defenses.
Okay. And I'm just going to go for the single attack to try to go for.
Okay, so minus 3 and double damage.
A 20.
That will hit. Roll your location.
An 8.
8 will hit him in the arm. So hit him in the leg.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and have you roll damage.
A 10.
10. So that shot, we'll do that, minus that, and we double it after armor is applied. So you do bury that knife into his leg, but he's still up.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially just jam that in there. And he's trying to push back. He's got those arrows. He's got your dagger in him. And he also, there was a lot of blood that came out of him on that round when he acted. Let's see. The Lord Nowak, is, let's see, he is going to move up essentially and comes at you, Ariane. He kind of doesn't want to engage with the Malay people. You're in the doorway. He wants to cut his way through you. So he, grabs up his dagger. You can see it's like an elven dagger. And he comes and he's going to try and do 2 shots on you.
Okay, so I can't try and intimidate him into just pissing his pants, no?
No, not on this. He's coming at you, rushing at you. The first shot he does on you is going to be a 21.
Okay, I think I'm gonna try and dodge that.
Yep. Makes sense.
I don't have my falchion out at the moment. I just have a bow.
Yep.
So is there any modifiers to that?
Nope, just a straight 21.
Cool. All right. I'm gonna spend. I might as well spend a luck. I don't want to get caught out by the guy. So that's a +1. All right, it's 25.
Perfect. And he'll do his second shot on you is a 19.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
The second shot he does on you essentially stabs twice, and the second one is a 19.
Okay. Ah, geez, that's a 19.
So he will. He has to beat your thing. So he will not land that blow. But that next second one is a just barely, like it comes by your ear there. Which brings us to Exith. Your action.
Yep. So I'm going to attack the soldier in front of me. He's still the biggest threat.
Yep.
And I trust that my the rest of the party can stop the Lord from going and getting help.
That
that
makes sense.
Swordsmanship.
16. He's got a total with all of his minuses a 19 right now. It's his defensive roll.
Okay. Let's roll that. I got a 23.
That will hit. Roll location.
Got a 5.
Good. That'll hit the torso.
Okay. And damage is 20.
So 10. So he is, he's trying to fight off both of you. He's got this pretty sweet blade. He's got those arrows in him. But he will just try and step out of the way, and you will cut across him with that shot. And there's a second where you think maybe he's going to keep standing up, and then his legs just go out from under him, and he hits his head, as it goes down on the back of that table, and he just crumples to the ground. And there's blood. There's probably more blood for a few moments of spraying after that. Ariana.
So the Lord. So I just dodged the Lord.
Yeah.
I think I still have bow and I have an arrow knock. Can I just rest the tip of that arrow because the guy's dead and the guard's not going? Can I just?
You could take a step back and shoot him.
Yeah. Oh, are we good? We were just gonna straight up kill him. You want to talk to him? No one wants to talk. All right, cool. All right, I would just. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Roll back and put a couple of point blank shots into this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So his first defense is a 1, and then he rolls another 1. So that is a 15 for the first defense.
Okay. So, all right. So 21.
Okay. So that will hit. Location.
1.
That is the head. Please roll your damage.
That's a 28.
So he has no head armor. So essentially he comes up, he does those 2 slashes on you. You kind of dodge back, and it's just you kind of dodge back, and you've got like maybe a foot of space, and then shook. And you guys who are in the room probably see the arrow sprout out the back of his head. And then he's gone. He just collapses. All the life goes out of him in one instant there, as he takes 74 points of damage. It's tripled for the head there like that. So, yeah, he crashes to the ground. Let me ask you this. Now do you guys run?
So has
Yes.
there been enough noise here to note it for other people to notice?
It's, let's say, a 5-second round, so that's maybe 10 seconds worth of fighting. I would say they're probably the guards on the grounds are probably coming this way because they've heard some clattering and smashing and maybe some noise. So I would say they aren't running this way, but they are coming to find out what the noise is in the house.
Perfect. So we made enough noise for people to notice. Question number 2 is, how important is the manor to the town? If it burned, would it be a problem?
Whew. Why don't you make an empathy roll here? Double your empathy score and roll that.
Yes, that is awesome. I have a 1 empathy. So I got a minus, or I got a 1.
Okay. You're like, burn this fucker down.
Yeah. Sweet. So I think that's what I'm going to do is
So and so you will move over to start to do that. I think the rest of you will realize what Exis is about to do. Anyone have any objections?
No,
No, it seems like a good distraction.
I'm just looking at the Lord and just like, well, that was easy.
I imagine that you can grab the nice blade that the officer has. You can grab the nice elven dagger. Grab a piece of loot, and tell me. So let's do a little montage to get out of the house. How do you set the place on fire?
I have a symbol that shoots sparks and fire whenever I spend stamina. It does damage, but it's got a 50% chance of lighting things on fire.
Okay.
So I think that's the point, is I do something just to cleanse this room, and it goes up.
Okay. And Eric, what is your next step? Are you leaving this unconscious guard here, or do we see you getting him out of here?
You know, I think all the guards here all knew what was going on. I think our priority is getting out of here quickly.
So we see maybe you take a glance and then you're gone.
Yeah.
And what do we see of you as you kind of run out of here, Ariane?
Yeah, I don't think. Not sure. I think it's there's nothing tying me to this place.
Nothing. There's nothing I want to steal here. It's all human garbage. You know.
Yeah, no, that's why I only took the elven dagger. Like, it's automatically way better.
Yeah, you will head out. And what about you, Gisley?
You know, after getting his knives back, I think he would grab the first thing of value that he sees. I mean, piece of art, candelabra. I mean, it might not make any sense within sort of the frame of his life, but
I think you can grab like the silver, like water pitcher that's on the table.
Perfect.
Beautiful sterling, got the little scroll work around the base of it, and we will see the four of you run out. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Next time we're going to deal with you traveling, essentially making your way through the mountains, and we'll have some kind of encounter of a spooky kind on the travel through there. That is in 2 weeks, because next week's is U.S. Thanksgiving, so we'll not be doing then. And when we get to the end of that next session, we'll stop and we'll talk about what we think about the game at that point, and see what we think. Noting that we're all primarily story gamers, with the possible exception of Q, who I know does a little more trad.
I have in the past, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stop the broadcast.